Ready to go? Whenever you're ready.
All right. Thank you. Hopefully by now you've seen the format that we're going to follow. We're going to do the same thing. We'll give you each an opportunity to provide an opening introduction. And then we've got a number of questions, and I'll go back and forth in terms of who has the opportunity to answer that question first. And then you'll have an opportunity for a closing remark, all of them limited by our 2-minute time limit. And we'll give you a notice it minute, and then also invite you to wrap it up as we lift up the red card. I'm going to start with you, Ms. Carter, if you would share with us your introduction.
First off, I want to say thank you for allowing us to be here. Thank you to the Chambers and to RCC for putting on this forum. I am Kelly Stanfield Carter. I was born and raised in Reidsville. I went to school at Rockingham High, graduated in 1988. I then went to Rockingham Community College here, graduated with an associate's degree in paralegal technology. I graduated in 91, went to work for 3 months with Walker, Melvin, and Berger, filling in for someone who was out on medical leave. I then went to a law firm for Lee Rodenbow in Madison, worked 4.5 years. Before I came to the clerk's office in 1996, I have been in the clerk's office for 26 years. I have been an assistant clerk for the last 12 years. I care about the citizens of this county. I have always tried to put the citizens of this county first, and that is the reason why I decided to run for this position.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bullins.
I'm Abner Bullins. I am from the Madison-Medin area, grew up in Madison on the western part of the county. I have a wife of 29 years, Carol, she's here somewhere, and 3 children, 2 of them who work in the school system right now, 2 that's in college, and none of them are paying their phone bill, by the way. I wish they'd hurry up and do that. I spent 30 years of law enforcement serving the citizens of Rockingham County at the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office, starting out as a dispatcher and eventually working my way up to the number 2 position of Major Chief Deputy. I am running for this position because I feel like I can bring something to the table with leadership, management, supervisory skills, and just being out in the community with the citizens, dealing with issues, decision making that has to be done when you are a deputy sheriff and you're serving the citizens. I have worked in the criminal realm. I've worked in the civil realm. I have made arrests. I have done everything from work on grandma's mailbox that was knocked down to go into a murder scene and investigating it. I think my totality of experience helps me to be the right candidate for this position, and I appreciate your support.
Mr. Bullins, the first question is going to come to you. Tell us what the role is for the clerk of court and how you qualify to do the job.
Well, there's not just one role for the clerk of court. The clerk of court does a variety of roles, everything from criminal to civil to estates. They do things such as competency hearings. They do bookkeeping. They have a juvenile section. It is a variety of things that most people in the community are not aware of. What makes me qualified for this position is, again, agencies such as the clerk of court has to have management and leadership. If you've ever dealt with personnel, which I have, when I was at the sheriff's office, I had 150 employees. There was 200 inmates in that jail, and I did a $10 million budget. My office at the sheriff's office was almost 5 times bigger than what the clerk's office is. If you've got good people working for you who know their job, it makes you look good. It makes you be able to be successful. And we have good clerks in the clerk's office. We have experts in each position in the clerk's office. I want to continue that. I want to feed off of what our current clerk has built so that I can build on that to make it even better.
Thank you. Ms. Carter, the same question for you. What do you see as the role of the clerk of court and how you qualify to do the job?
Well, the clerk's office is the hub of the entire court system. The clerk of court is a judge. They are also an administrator, record keepers, they're comptrollers. They're also leaders. These issues that the citizens of Rockingham County come to the clerk's office for are life-altering issues. They are money judgments, it's foreclosures, it's custody issues, it is incompetencies, estates of a loved one. These issues are serious. They are life-altering. That is why I feel like my experience and my knowledge with working in that office for 26 years will help navigate these people and their loved ones through these issues when they come into our office. You can't teach experience. When you come into the office, you want someone who knows how to handle your case because they are sensitive matters. And that is why I feel like I am the best candidate for that position, because I have that.
Thank you. We're going to stay with you, and the next question you may recognize from earlier in the evening. How will you work to ensure equality for people of all backgrounds in your office?
Well, there's a lot of changes in the clerk's office now, and in fact, with the end of the year, we've got 4 people coming out that are retiring. When you look at the experience that's going out the door, you've got almost 100 years or a little more going out the door. So that's very important to keep experience and keep training, and with the new programs that are coming up, which are supposed to be almost 100% paperless, it's going to be so many changes. And so with my knowledge and experience that I have already with procedures, I think that will help with the new changes that are coming into the office. And we need to keep the knowledge going. We are under the administrative office of the courts, and they provide training for us, and that's what we have to base our skills on and apply the law as applicable. So that's the main thing that we need to do, is continue to brush up our skills, because there are going to be so many changes in the next year coming up.
Thank you. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Repeat the question, please.
How will you work to ensure equality for people of all backgrounds in your office?
It's very easy. Customer service. You have to treat the customer like they're important. As I was a deputy sheriff and worked my way up in the agency, our customers were the citizens of Rockingham County. And when a person comes to that clerk's office, or even if it was the sheriff's office, and that may be their first interaction with anybody at that office, the way that we treat them, the service that we give them, will be a thing that they'll never forget. And if it's not good, they'll always have that perception of that organization as being not a friendly place, or a place conducive to them getting things done like they need to. What we have to remember is that we work for the citizens. They don't work for us. And we have to do that and treat the citizens like they should be treated. Remember, the clerk of court, although it's a variety of things that go on in there, it boils down to how we treat the citizens and the customers when they come there, making sure they get the proper information, making sure they get the proper knowledge of whatever the problem may be. It may be a domestic violence order where someone is in fear for their life because their spouse or their boyfriend has decided they're going to abuse them. It could be something as simple as taking out an eviction order and coming in there and getting the clerk to help them fill that out. Customer service has to be number one, making sure that people in the right positions that know what they're doing, to make sure when somebody walks in that office, they're getting exactly what they're supposed to get from the taxpayer dollars.
Thank you. We've got one more question for you, and we'll start with you, Mr. Bullins. If elected, what things would you address in the first 120 days of your term?
Well, first of all, you evaluate what you have. When you get into office, you evaluate your personnel, you evaluate the system, you evaluate, is there things that can be done to make things better on personnel? I'm a firm believer, from supervising people over and over the years, that happy employees tend to do better work. stressful employees tend to make more mistakes and tend to have more problems. I think that one of the biggest things is to evaluate your people, see where they're at, see if they need to be more trained, see if they need to be moved to a different position. Is that the position that's best suited for them? Evaluate what you have in the clerk's office. She spoke about it earlier. There's a lot of changes going on. There's a new system coming in there. Making sure that the training and the know-how is there so that we're not lacking when the citizens come to use that organization. That is one of the main things. And trying to make it not only follow the law, but make sure when somebody walks in that office, they leave with a good feeling about the clerk of court did everything they could to help me, whether it was the decision they liked or not, that we did everything we could to make it as good for them or a good experience for them as we could. There's some serious things that go on in that office, and she alluded to that. And we've got to take it serious and make sure that we got people in the right spots, and we're doing all the things we can to utilize, again, taxpayer dollars. They pay our salary. They expect us to do it correctly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Please.
If elected, what things would you address in the first 120 days of your term?
Well, like I mentioned before, we do have several people that are leaving, so we will have to hire new people within the office. I'm a firm believer that when I go to an office to seek help, I want to make sure that I get the proper help. So when I am dealing with people or the staff is dealing with people, you try to put yourself on the outside of that office looking in if that was me. And I'm coming in there with a domestic violence issue or a foreclosure issue, or I'm being evicted from my home. I want the best possible service that I can get while they are also providing me understanding of it, because the outcome is not always what the customer wants when they come in there. The training is something that's going to have to continue to go on in our office for quite some time, especially with all the new changes that we have coming. And like I said, a lot of that training comes to us through the administrative office of the courts. If there are some people that will probably have to be moved around in the office in order to make things a better place. Some would be better in another department because they would suit that department better. I want people to be happy. But if you have happy customers that feel comfortable in what they know and how they talk to people when they come in as a customer and as a citizen, then that makes for a better office as a whole. And I want us to be a whole. We are team players, and we have to make sure that we are team members in order to play correctly. And that's one thing that I will focus on. And that's how we'll excel.
Thank you. We are at the point for closing remarks. Ms. Carter, we'll start with you.
Okay. Like I said, in order to excel, you have to be able to follow. Having the privilege and honor to follow and learn from the administration of J. Mark Pigram has been a blessing in order to provide me to be in a better position to continue to serve the citizens in this county properly. Party affiliation should not be the foundation of an office that serves all. And that's who we are. We serve all. That's why I'm unaffiliated. I am the choice for experience. I am the choice to continue to be the bridge for the citizens with their legal needs. I am the choice for fairness and honesty while showing professionalism and commitment. I am Kelly Stanfield Carter, and I am running as your unaffiliated candidate for the Clerk of Superior Court, and I would love to have your support and your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bullins.
Yeah, thank you. I started out at the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office as a dispatcher. I went from dispatch to patrol deputy, from patrol deputy to undercover detective, from undercover detective to sergeant under Sheriff Bobby Vernon. From there, I was promoted to lieutenant under Sam Page. I also was moved from lieutenant over our records division. By the way, the clerk of court handles records, for those of you that might not know. I was over our civil division, which was our executions, our foreclosures, our summary ejectments. I was over the sex offender registry. I was over the gun permits, concealed carry. I got promoted from lieutenant to captain, where I did a $10 million budget, which took me to the number 3 position in the agency. From there, I went to major, which was the chief deputy, the number 2 guy. I answered to Sheriff Page directly. As I said earlier, we had 150 employees, 200 inmates in that jail, and a $10 million budget. Unless you have worked and you have dealt with personnel, it is a different ball game, ladies and gentlemen. It's not the same as being one of the guys. I have experience out in the community. I have been working with citizens in the community my whole life. My decision-making skills, I think I can put up against anybody. I've been spit on, slapped, kicked, punched, stabbed, and shot at, and I've dealt with it. You elect me to clerk of court, I can tell you 3 things. We're going to follow the law, we're going to be professional, and we're going to make sure the citizens get what they deserve from the taxpayer dollars. I'm Abner Matthew Bullins, and I want to be your clerk of court.
Well, it's nice to see that you both have good supporters here tonight. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you.
As well as the North